Welcome to Nature's Galaxy. Today, I am going to review the nice epic novel by Dav Pilkey, Captain Underpants and the Terrifying Return of Tippy Tinkletrousers. Who is that? Haha, it sounds funny. Tippy Tinkletrousers. What is that? So, I like this book because I watched the movie and it inspired me to read more of the books. Okay. I like Captain Underpants when I watched the movie because Captain Underpants is so adventurous and funny. He's funny and adventurous because he wears underpants and he saves the world from villains. And I really like him. And this book is about Captain Underpants. He's fighting his arch enemy called Tippy Tinkletrousers. He used to be called Professor Poopy Pants, and this is so funny. He used to be called Professor Poopy Pants because this guy, he lived in New Switzerland, and in New Switzerland everyone has a very funny name. Yeah. And then Captain Underpants and his creators that turned him into Captain Underpants, George Bear and Harold Hutchins. Yeah, in this book they went into jail because they're evil twins when robbed a bank, and the police thought it was the good George and Harold. Then George and Harold and Captain Underpants, but Captain Underpants' real identity is their mean old principal, Mr. Crop. What? How can a mean old principal be a funny and adventurous superhero? Because George, he used the hypno ring and hypnotized their head teacher into Captain Underpants. And it actually worked. What? And now that they're in jail, Tippy Tinkletrousers, he was in jail as well. And do you know, he said he was building a statue for someone. Yeah, but actually it wasn't. It was a robot. A big robot. Yeah, can you see? It's like a body, and his head goes in there, and then it has a thing called freezy beam thingy. Yeah, and then he went into the robot and he escaped. Oh! Then when Jordan Harold snaps their fingers, their head teacher, Mr. Crop, becomes in Captain Underpants. So then George and Harold, they snapped their fingers, and then Mr. Crab became Captain Underpants. And Captain Underpants, do you know what he did? Do you know the top part? Captain Underpants took the top part of the robot off, and there was only the pants. Pants was only left, but Tippy Tinkletrousers, he was still safe because there was stairs leading to the bottom part. So he went down into the bottom part, the pants of the robot. Then he got safe. Then Tippy Tinkletrousers, he used the freezer beam. He tried to freeze Captain Underpants, but Captain Underpants was just right near his legs, and Tippy Tinkletrousers accidentally freezed his legs. That's good, because then Captain Underpants could beat him up. But then Tippy Tinkletrousers, his robot had a time traveling power, so he went all back 5 years ago. Oh my God. Okay. Now let's read. But before I'm going to read, the author is Dav Pilkey. He also has his own website. So, be sure to check that out. Okay, so let's read chapter 1. So, Chapter 1. Okay. Chapter 1. George and Harold. Chapter 1's title is George and Harold. So, this is George Baird and Harold Hutchins. George is the kid on the right with the tie and the flat top. And Harold is the one on the left with the t-shirt and the bad haircut. Okay. When our last adventure ended, George and Harold were being escorted to jail. The police had discovered surveillance photos showing the two boys robbing the bank with Captain Underpants. Of course, we all know that George, Harold and Captain Underpants were innocent. It was the evil twins who had robbed the bank, but the police hadn't bothered to read the last book, so they didn't really know what was going on. All they knew that was George and Harold looked a lot like the two kids in the surveillance photos. So the cops yelled, "Freeze!" and grabbed George and Harold. Then told the two boys out of the terrible fate. Oh no! Suddenly, a gigantic pair of robotic trousers appeared from out of nowhere. The terrifying Tippy Tinkletrousers emerged from the zipper and zapped the cops with an ice ray. What? Tippy Tinkletrousers. Like I said, he went back in time, then he came back. And he saved George and Harold. I think because he wanted to destroy them. Yeah, maybe. And chased George and Harold and the two pets, Crackers and Sulu, far into the cavernous depth of the lower right-hand corner of page 17. If you read a lost epic novel, you know that is how the story ended. But that's not how it was supposed to end. You see, Tippy and his giant ice ray zapping robotic trousers weren't supposed to be there at all. They had come from the future and rudely interrupted that was supposed to happen. Unfortunately for Tippy, the simple act of sending himself backwards through time would end up being a terrible, terrible mistake. A mistake that would ultimately lead to the destruction of our entire planet. More or less, but before I can tell you that story, I have to tell you this story. This is chapter 2. It's called The Banana Cream Pie Paradox. What? Time machines are awesome, yeah. There's no doubt about it, but they can also be very dangerous. It's possible that a person could go back in time and accidentally change one little thing. And that one teeny tiny itsy bitsy thing could profoundly affect the future. This is what scientists refer to the banana cream pie paradox. Please follow along with this handy illustration. But some people say change the past, change the future. That's true. So don't go back in time and change stuff, because that'll be very, very bad. So imagine, if you will, that a scientist from the year 2020, that's this year, baked a banana cream pie using bananas that he harvested from his very own banana tree. Let's suppose now that this scientist took the banana cream pie into a time machine, okay, which zaps him and the pie back to the year 1936. That's a long time. That's like 70 years ago. No. 64 years ago, actually. That's a long time ago, though. Yeah. Now imagine that the scientist stepped out of his time machine and accidentally tripped, smashing his pie into the face of a lady sitting at a fancy garden party. Now suppose that the lady jumped angrily wiped a handful of gooey banana cream pie falling from her face and threw it at the scientist. But the scientist ducked, causing the banana to go smack in the face of a gentleman standing nearby. It went in another face. Uh-oh. A waitress pointed at the gentleman and laughed. The angry gentleman wiped the goo from his face and smushed it into the waitress' face. Well, said the waitress, I've never been so insulted in all my life. You ought to get out more, lady. Knock, 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 said a chubby bald guy. Why don't you mind your own business, bird brain, said another man. As he poked the chubby bald guy in the eye like this, and that must have hurt. The chubby bald guy fell backwards and landed on the scientist's banana tree. It was just a tiny sapling in 1936. The tiny banana tree snapped in half and died. Oh no! Now, if the scientist's banana tree died in 1936, it would never grow up and produce bananas. Therefore, the scientist will not have the main ingredient he used to make his banana cream pie in the year 2020. See? Because the chubby bald guy, he accidentally broke the banana tree, then the scientist, he would never have his banana cream pie ever again. And the banana tree would be gone. See? Just like in one of the books, George and Harold vowed to make a good, so they won't ever do naughty things and always be good and no more pranks. Then, when they went into the future, they saw their future selves. They were being teachers. Huh? George and Harold, but George and Harold's future selves wasn't the teachers who are kind and loving. They were the teachers like Mr. Crop, because the future Mr. Crop was George and Harold's future self boss, and George and Harold's future selves, they said, what you doing, boy? Okay, it's so fun making children cry and giving them detention. Then George and Harold unvowed to make stuff, and they vowed to do pranks and be all naughty and silly and stuff. Then the future George and Harold, they vanished, and then the future Mr. Crab, they said, oh, where did they go? Yeah, so that affects the future. Consequently, the banana cream pie could not exist. Okay? Then the police chief and his right-hand man, Officer McWiggly, handcuffed George and Harold and shuffled them into the back of the police car. You've got the wrong guy, cried Harold. We didn't rob that bank. It's true, that bank was robbed by an evil twin from an alternate universe. Yeah, right, said Officer McWiggly. What if I had a penny for every time I've heard that excuse? On the way to jail, the cops drove past Mr. Crop, who was busy cleaning up the soggy toilet paper in his yard. Hey! Shouted the police chief. That's the guy who robbed the bank with those kids. Let's get him! Yelled Officer McWiggly. Oh no! The Times and stuff. Guilty. The cops slammed on the brake, grabbed Mr. Crop, handcuffed him, and threw him into the back seat of the car along with George and Harold. What's gonna happen? The trials lasted for nearly a year, and George, Harold, and Mr. Crop were all found guilty. They were each sentenced to 10 years of incarceration. It's usually harsh sentence was tough on George and Harold, but it was really hard on Mr. Crop because he was a head teacher. And he never knew what it was to be like a prisoner. Yeah. So, I read a few chapters. That is the end of chapter 1, 2, and 3. I hope you like reading Captain Underpants book as well, just like me. And thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye. See you later, alligator. And read more Captain Underpants book if you can. Bye.